Oh, there you are, Sam. I've been looking all over for you.
Oh, well, I'm at your service, ma'am. What can I do for you?
You can do something about that puppy.
George? Why, I can't believe he'd do anything to upset you so much, ma'am. Why, he's a sweet little old button. Oh, absolutely, and cute, too. That's half the problem. Ma'am?
Well, the little Dickens keeps following me around in the dining room begging from the patients. He ends up with about half of my treats. He's really learned to work a room.
Oh,
That's not funny, Sam. He must be stopped before I starve to death.
why, Miss Cupcake, there's plenty of food around for everyone.
Not for someone with refined tastes such as I am. I simply cannot subsist on dog food. I've tried everything. I even snapped at the little beast. And then the patient didn't give me anything. She scolded me for being mean to George. You simply must talk to him.
Me?
Yes, you have his respect. Perhaps he'll listen to you.
Oh, I doubt it. You know puppies when it comes to goodies. I think it's going to take a lot more than talking to him. Reminds me of a human slave girl who was following Paul and his two friends around in Philippi.
Oh, you mean from that religious book with which you're all so enamored?
Yes, the Bible. It's God's love letter to his children. You see, this young lady had been possessed, taken over, that is, by an evil spirit. And that made her able to tell fortunes, which made money for her masters.
Oh, you mean like telling humans their futures?
Yep. Well, she kept following Paul and Silas and Timothy around, calling out, "These men are servants of the Most High God and will show us the way of salvation." Well, it didn't look too good for a girl possessed by evil to be following them around like that. So Paul commanded that spirit to come out of her, and it did.
Oh, well, that was wonderful, but how does that help us with George? He's just a good beggar. He's not possessed by evil.
Oh, it didn't help Paul and his friends too much either. The girls' owners were furious because they couldn't make money for them anymore, and so they dragged Paul and Silas before the local magistrates and made up all kinds of lies about him. And that stirred up the people against them, and there was a riot. The magistrate had them beaten and locked up in prison.
Oh, my. All of that over driving out one little bad spirit?
Well, the jailer was ordered to lock them up real tight and securely, so he put them in an inner cell and their feet in stocks.
Stocks? Oh, yes. Those are like a wooden wall thing with holes, and they open and shut to trap prisoners' feet so they can't move.
Yep. Well, long about midnight, Paul and Silas were praying and singing praises to God, and the other prisoners were all listening to them. Suddenly there was an earthquake, and the prison doors all came open, and everybody's chains fell off.
Well, that was quite an event.
Oh, that was a miracle. The jailer assumed that all the prisoners had run off, so he drew his sword to do himself in.
Well, why would he do that?
Well, you see, because back then, if anyone escaped from a jailer's prison, the government would torture and put the jailer to death. He didn't want to go through that.
Wow, I guess there was a lot of meanness in those days.
Well, but Paul called out and told the jailer not to harm himself, as they were all still there.
Another miracle, I guess, but I still don't see what. The jailer took Paul and Silas to his house and tended their wounds and fed them, and Paul shared with them and his family Jesus, and they were all believers and were baptized.
Wonderful, and the next morning the magistrate sent word to Paul and Silas to be let go. But Paul said something like, "Nothing doing."
He what?
Well, Paul said, more or less, "You all beat us in public and locked us up without a trial, and we're Roman citizens. Now, you want us to leave secretly? No way! You come down here yourselves and bring us out." Oh boy, that was brave. I'd have been running out of there so fast they'd never see me again. The magistrates were afraid if Rome found out they'd be in a boatload of trouble, so they went down to the prison and begged Paul and Silas to leave town. Good for Paul and Silas. It's a great day when a bad government official gets a wise-up call, but I still don't understand how this helps us with our problem. Well, ma'am, it doesn't. But I got you to listen to a Bible story about how God takes care of his children and uses even bad situations for good. Why, you sneaky old buzzard. So what are we going to do about George getting all my goodies? Well, Miss Cupcake, they're not your goodies. They belong to the patients who can give them to whomever they want. If George gets more in his share because he's cute and sweet, that's just life. Ain't a thing I can do about that. Well, I never. Still, it was a really good story. Maybe I should listen to more of those. That was a great story. It was hilarious. Which, the Bible story or the fuzzy old dog tricking the snappy little diva dog? Both? The story was great, the way that human Paul embarrassed the government guys. And who'd have thought that old dog could be so devious? I loved it. Maybe there's hope for me after all. Melvin, you should learn better stuff from Sam than that, like manners and fairness and all that. Well, now, Matilda, you're not about to go and be nice again, are you? No, don't you dare. Melvin, come back here.